Hello, 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 and welcome to this Council of Tamrinor stream. My name is John, and I am joined by Sean.
No, you're
not. And Geoff.
Yeah.
Hello.
And RandomShern.
Hello.
Who is here not just because we have this brand new Tamrinor overlay that Shern put together, but we do have that, and it's very fancy, and it incorporates the Tamrinor logo that we have now had officially finished by the very talented Pendragon Nomad.
Never heard of him.
Geoff has just resubbed for 77 months in a row. That is so many months.
Get that out of the way before we started.
That is a lot of months. That is a lot of months. We are here to continue world building. This is the Council of Tamrinor. We are doing our world building stream, and so this is our world building drafting desk, did we call it, Sean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
And we are gonna hopefully smoothly, seeing a little bit of jumping in the video tonight. We're going to be discussing symbols, symbology, iconography, icons, heraldry, and other things that mean that same stuff.
Yeah.
Which is why we've drawn Shan in, because they have a visual brain.
Yarp.
So for a little bit,
Sean's just a brain.
There's
Yes.
other
In
parts
some
as
sort
well.
of strange meat suit.
Man, Sean's just a brain, not even one in a jar, it's just sat on a table.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna before we get into anything much further than this, I'm gonna turn off the guest star because it's not working, or my connection is not working.
Doing good for your internet. It's not doing well for your internet.
My internet should be perfectly fine with it, but the internet does not seem to reach this corner of the house or the yeah, it says it's reaching this corner of the house perfectly fine until I try to do anything with it.
Well then.
Well,
at least without guest star, me and like all of us can just get naked.
Yeah.
Apart from John, all of us can get naked now.
Oh. I mean, Sean's already just a brain, so it's you know.
Yeah, it can't get more naked than Sean right now.
Than just a brain.
And really, nothing's stopping you, John.
Twitch terms of service.
I mean, from the waist down, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just remember not to stand up while on stream.
We're going to talk about some symbols, some iconography. To go a little bit into detail, let's bring in the details on the drafting table. This is the graph view of everything we've been doing so far in Obsidian. And Obsidian is a great note-taking application, and we are going to keep using it for taking notes as we go. But there is the intention of having this campaign setting laid out in a book format at some point. Probably not a printed book, but a PDF, book at some point so that people can look at it and see it and read it and use it if they wish for inspiration in their own campaigns. And to that end, I've started translating it into more of a regimented book form in InDesign. And here it is. I say here it is. It's on the stream now.
Very snazzy.
I've gone through and I've started to translate the notes into longer format things that are harder to type out on the stream, because then it really would just be a stream of watching me type things, even more so than it kind of already is. But as I've started to type some of these things out, I've noted that there are things that we have not yet discussed.
Mm-hmm.
One of those is, on this particular chapter, the thing that we want to talk about tonight, the holy symbols of the gods. Because they're going to have them. Simple as that. We need them to have them for things like clerics and paladins to be able to wield them in their magics.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to work out what they are. And some of them, I've got some vague ideas, and we can refine those. And I've written those into this chapter here, and we'll zoom in a bit so that it's easier to read in a minute. And others, not really a clue.
Okay.
So I think, should we just start with the A to Z, which literally we do have an A god and a Z god, an A to Z of the deities, and work out what each of their holy symbols are before we move on to another thing?
Yeah, at least have some written ideas down.
Right, let us zoom in a little bit so that this is a bit more easy to read for people on the stream. Starting at A, we have Asin the Spark, the Gentle Nudge, the Untethered Thought, the Intrusive One. Asin is a chaotic trickster and the god of inspiration. His influence is responsible for the initial push towards certain courses of action, not the final thought, just the initial urge.
Okay.
Tanny says, hello, and they ate too many brownies and now have regrets.
Well, sounds like a you problem.
Should have worked out how to share those brownies around. And my thoughts for the holy symbol for Asin were a lightning bolt, maybe?
Lightning bolt kind of works.
I feel, considering we've got, I mean, not to immediately jump ahead, we got Demos, the holder of the storm debris.
Yes.
Lightning and stuff makes sense for him more.
It's probably everybody,
know.
Geoff. It's probably everybody except the stream, because they aren't getting me through Discord.
That's fair.
Just try and push through, ask me to repeat anything if it drops out majorly.
So, I feel with, because obviously it's like the spark, I feel possibly not, I don't want to say, I don't know how to describe what I'm picturing in my head. It's like a star, but it's only 4 points, and it's like horizontal, vertical, almost like a cross ellipsis shape. Like pointed ellipses.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I don't know what the shape's called. So,
Like a square rotated 45 degrees, so it's on the diagonals, and then you curve the points in, you curve the straight lines inwards.
straight lines inwards a lot. So they're like, so it kind of has gives the impression of like in some cartoons, like when someone gets an idea, there's the and it's like like literally like a little that shape almost.
Yeah, I kind of get the sense also that if the gentle nudge is one of the names, that maybe something almost like a hand gesturing, maybe holding the star, or like touching a surface and the star is sort of at the fingertips.
That could work. Yeah.
A 4-pointed curved star?
Yeah. I don't know what that shape... It must have a name.
Yeah.
Held by a hand. Yeah. If we can work out a better name for what that shape is.
I mean, I would hope that if we're making bookie work and all that, we would try to.
We'll probably have pictures as well. Yes.
Yeah, get someone to draw the damn thing. If only we knew some artists, John.
I know, right? Where can we find them? That's the real question.
If only we had some sort of room where we talk and we could discuss things like that and have people post pictures and if only, John.
Well, we'll just have to move on at the moment.
Only. Next!
Beffin, the folio.
It's called an asteroid.
It's called an asteroid? Really?
Yeah.
That isn't confusing in descriptive terms.
In mathematics, an asteroid is a particular type of roulette curve, and it basically creates that shape.
I'll put "or" in there so that we know.
I feel asteroid needs to be in air quotes because otherwise you're just going, why do I say there's going to be a meteor or some kind?
Why don't we just leave it as a 4-pointed star because people know what that is?
I'm putting both in there because
I've never heard it referred to as an asteroid before. So
at the moment, this is just so we remember more than.
Okay, so who's next?
Asteroid. Huh. Beffin, the folio of eras, the never-ending lawkeeper, the ever-thought, the compendium of all. Beffin is the god of knowledge.
An open book.
Yeah, it's a slam dunk, this one, isn't it? Beffin's a book. The symbol is a book.
A book.
I feel maybe a book with something else. I don't know, like an eye in the center crease or something, or just something to make it otherworldly. But
I like the idea of an eye in the center.
Yeah, I reckon we can play with that.
So the closed book is just a rectangle. That's not going to do anything. Like an open book is more of like an obvious shape, like an obvious symbol, and the eye is just like, ooh, give me more knowledge. Let me read more.
Let me read. Droth, the last breath, the eternal end, the inevitable respite, the lord of passing, the keeper of falling sand, the furious demise. Droth is the god of death.
Yay!
So my suggestions are a skull or an hourglass.
Or both.
Both. That was exactly what I was going to say as well.
I feel like they could be combined.
Yeah. Top half skull, hourglass body, lower jaw, bottom.
So an open skull with the hourglass in the mouth,
Yeah. I certainly wasn't thinking of growth symbol all the time.
A
I
skull.
kind of wondered whether you could have sand pouring from one skull into another,
Could do that as well.
or have the bottom of the hourglass as the skull. I feel like this it fits around that sort of feel for sure.
Yeah. Regardless, skulls and hourglasses.
Yeah.
Skulls and hourglass, like we
The
knew that
skull-
hourglass was going to be in there.
Yeah.
Skull is fairly straightforward to be in there as well, because you know, god of death
Time.
and the god of time.
Yeah.
He does both. Demos, holder of the void, master of the maelstrom. Stormcloud.
Yeah.
Stormcloud or lightning bolt or some combination thereof.
Yeah. I think Stormcloud, lightning bolt. Trying to think if there's anything else that makes sense, but I feel really that's.
What about? I was thinking like a spiral maelstrom.
Yeah.
Could be, yeah, could be like a swirly spiral. That's the word.
Swirly spiral with a lightning bolt coming out of it.
Yeah.
A swirl of
I think you're on the wrong bit. There we are.
wind with a lightning bolt.
Could we do a cloud that is a particularly swirly cloud with a lightning bolt coming out the bottom? You know, like the kind of rushing clouds that roll back on themselves?
Yeah.
Create that front, like, rolled edge? Would that give us sort of the maelstrom?
It would definitely imply it, and obviously also be like storms and stuff like that. So it makes sense for it to be a cloud.
Do you have a particular name for that type of what's the name for that type of cloud? Because there is one. I don't know what it is.
This is going to be a lot of. We know the name of the thing.
I'd go with like I almost, my brain just goes to like a rushing cloud, but
Swirl of rushing cloud with a lightning bolt coming out of the bottom.
yeah.
Elipheth, mother of growth. The first seed, goddess of agriculture and farming. It's wheat.
Yeah, a wheat sheath or
Seedling.
yeah,
I
seedling.
don't forget like tree of life sort of vibes. Like if you had a seed at the bottom with an entire tree growing out of it.
I've also noticed that I've misspelled garden here, so let me fix that while I'm at that.
What you don't? You mean it's not a golden?
It's not a Goadon of the Starless Skies. Going to be proofreading this before I publish.
Why bother? It'll be fine.
Okay.
I'm sure that's the only one.
That's the
I'm sure
only
there's no
spelling mistake we'll ever make. It'll be fine.
I think like for me, wheat is too specifically farming-y.
Yeah, it does kind of like point really.
Well, she is agriculture and farming.
You're looking at it. She is
She's
really
not
agriculture.
nature.
She's not. Yeah, we got a different one.
Okay.
I don't remember who we have for nature at the moment.
Wana.
Do we
Uana
do
is life.
something
Yeah.
like a cart wheel with wheat and plant, like farming stuff in front of it.
So what, like a wheel with wheat and seed?
Yeah. Because that would then mean it picks up on some of the agriculture and like the technologies that go with it.
Yeah, it puts the human element into it.
A wheel with wheat and seed and bread blending from one to the next.
Yeah.
I'm also looking at this and thinking I need to put a bit more space between the bottom of where the text is and the top of where the text in the footer goes. Layout.
Yeah, that's later John's problem.
That is also later John's problem. Current John's problem is Evernora, Keeper of the Garden. Fallen child of the starless skies, breaker of fates, the many-face.
Like the topiary bushes, the ones that are like sculpted.
Yeah.
Could we do something like that with two side profiles of a face either side?
Yes. Yeah, I like that.
Topiary? I can't remember how it's said, but that's the word.
Topiary. It's just a topiary. It's not like a topiary bush, is it?
Can I throw something in? Carry a topiary of stars. Oh no.
Starless.
Actually, no, it won't be stars. Stars, exactly. Yeah.
Topiary. I gotta say, Geoff, I was along the same lines. I was like, it's a topiary, and in the middle there's a star field. No, there isn't, because it's the starless skies.
So, what is the garden in case?
I'm looking at this. I don't actually know what the hell she's the god of.
Yeah. Currently, sort of nothing. Because it's mentioned in what we've written that her purview, her former purview, went to Elipheth. And she is now just sort of a god of... a god with nothing that she commands.
Just thinking out loud a sec. If she is the fallen child, but her role went to Elipheth, who is the mother, could they not be swapped round? So the fallen mother of the starless sky and the child of growth.
Yes. Also, Elipheth and Evernora were lovers as well. They weren't like...
Oh, okay.
Might be a bit weird then.
Yeah, we might want to just...
Although, to be fair, I do like Child of Growth and Fallen Mother of the Starless Sky. But yeah, we don't actually know fully what Evernora was the goddess of and no longer is.
Kind of makes it hard to make a symbol about her if we don't know.
She's sort of, at the moment, she's just a bitter trickster with godlike powers.
So I'm latched onto the many face motif.
I feel that's the big thing that we take away from it. She probably isn't worshipped widely. She's more of a cautionary tale, I guess. But I do like the topiary with two faces.
Yeah, I'm feeling that's probably the best we've got.
That was the kind of instant that I went to.
A topiary with two fuma profiles.
You two fuma poof.
Yes, exactly, John.
Yeah, that's
Those words.
draw that. Somebody,
Yeah. Type that out, John.
How are we spelling that?
God help
Obviously,
me,
PHEMMO. Puff puff is PHPHFPFF.
Beautiful.
I feel that we also need to possibly work out, like, she presumably, if Elifeth is currently the goddess of agriculture and farming, presumably there was some sort of plant related thing that Evanora had been the goddess of.
If it had been like forests and like that sort of stuff, she could then be the god of essentially becoming a trickster, is like getting lost.
I like the idea that she used to be the god of forests, and now Elifeth looks after that, as well as like the tending to the tending.
Yeah,
to the
she still
farm.
tends to the forest, but she will mess with you if you go into them.
Since her exile, Filmula has taken over her purview.
There's actually like agriculture and stuff. It's kind of going from the wilds of forest to the sort of more refined feel, if that makes sense.
Next up on our list, Falkite the Wanderer. First of all, he doesn't have any other names at the moment.
Okay.
But he is a braggart and frequently tells stories that suggest that he might have once been a mortal adventurer. But those that actually listen to the tales hear that they are above the level of even the most heroic of mortals. My current ideas were a path or a signpost or something to denote like travel, because I feel that he is the god of travel and like going out on adventures.
Yeah. Signpost or like compass?
I was gonna say compass, yeah.
Compass.
It's a nice, easy, simple.
And it has a use as well. You can use it.
And it has a use.
Yeah.
It could literally be that they wear the people who follow
Literally
him
a compass.
wear functional compasses, and that's it.
A fully functioning compass.
We say fully functioning, but is that how he guides people? They work most of the time, but
he's truly faithful. He might waggle that needle.
Which he might influence. I can spell.
Which he might infatuate.
In the truly faithful, or when the situation calls for it,
or for the lols,
or for the shiz and geeks. Nephili, Knight's Blessing, Keeper of Slumber, the Dream Weaver.
Sorry, it felt like it needed that.
This was another one of just like not sure. What do we do? What do we do for the god of dreams.
Dreamcatcher.
Dreamcatcher. No, I had a thought of one, but it could be too easily construed as dead.
Okay.
I was thinking about a side profile of a person's face, but as if they're like on their back, like looking up, as if they're sleeping. But that could come across as dead easily, so probably not that.
Sean suggests clouded moon.
Clouded moon. Clouded moon works quite nicely.
No, I've returned. My internet fell over.
You could layer the two.
Mm.
A clouded fuck.
Moon?
A clouded moon and a dream weaver. Dream catcher. Not dream weaver. That's a program for
I can't help it now.
That's a program for making websites made by Adobe. The moon viewed through a dream capture. Novely, the undying devotion, the heart's blush, the cherished one, the goddess of love. I put down a heart or an arrow. Both seem too obvious.
Heart eye emoji.
Tanny, she is the knight's blessing. And to be fair, we don't actually have a goddess, a god or goddess of the night. Tanny is saying that the night, that the moon would implicate that she is a night god, not the god of dreams. But I feel that she can be both.
I feel she would be both.
So could you do for undying devotion? Could you do like hand holding, two hands clasped together?
Yeah.
Ooh, I like
it.
Or what about
like
with
that.
like two hands holding with the like the ribbon tying them together?
Yeah.
Like the hand
Essentially.
fasting
Yeah.
rituals. Or that could be an optional thing, I suppose.
I like the idea that that's part of their marriage ceremony. Is the whole hands holding each other with. I'm sure I've seen that before though. That's the thing, and I can't remember where I've.
It's called hand fasting. It's a symbolic act that takes place during a wedding ceremony where the hands of the happy couple are bound together with a ribbon or a cord to represent their commitment to each other. Their hands are wrapped together in an expression of love with words, poetry, or music accompanying the ritual.
Not hardcore enough. Gonna clasp hands and dunk them in molten iron.
And is also
you're not getting away from each other then.
yeah. Is also where the phrase tying the knot comes from. But yeah, I like the idea that it's not like an always that, because it could just be two hands holding each other because she's the goddess of all love.
It by all means it would have a certain connotation with the hand fasting thing, but it could just obviously mean connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that kind of reaching out to someone, sort of comforting another person.
Or it could be that the symbol normally doesn't have the ribbon at all, and you actually, when you get married, you add the ribbon.
That'd be interesting.
And you could have like little symbols, like you could have that instead of like an engagement ring or something like that, if you were devoted to Novalee.
With the ribbon tying them together if the bearer is married. Scrouge, bringer of change, the treasurer, the minder of coins, the purveyor of deals, the eternal salesman. The god of trade and commerce, Scrouge, is a cat. A humanoid cat. He has wares if you have coin.
When you said Scrouge, my immediate thought was a humbug.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
I mean, what I've got written down at the moment is gold coins.
Yeah,
but
I feel like some sort of scale.
Yeah, I feel like a gold coin with a scale on.
A gold coin with the scale. Oh yeah.
Like so the gold. So can I go? Go on, Jeff. Go on.
A gold coin being held by a cat's paw.
So, I kind of see a big coin sat on the table surface, a scale placed on top of it, and in the center of the scale is a cat's paw holding both sides.
I kind of like the idea that you possibly have different ones where like some people just have the gold coin and it's just a gold coin with a cat's paw on it.
Yeah.
And then the more ornate one is the whole scale.
One that incorporates scale and everything else.
Could that be a thing then? Say like, people have their own interpretations of like, all the various like symbols, cat's paw, scales, but what really matters is it's a gold coin, and that's literally the only thing that actually.
Yeah. Good.
Uana.
Make
The
way.
The verdant queen, the soul binder, the breath giver, the keeper of the circle. She is the goddess of life and the living and stuff.
Something green.
I put an eye because it's kind of like I felt that was a thing that like most, not all, but lots of living things have eyes.
Tell that to the eyeless mole rat.
Most.
What about, and hear me out, what about a green circle? Because the circle has no end.
Yeah.
It's like
I feel a circle is required because the keeper of the circle.
Green. I think green's part of it. For the verdant part.
Green feels like it needs to be there.
I would love. I'm seeing in my brain hole.
Okay.
That that it would be like a stone with moss on it, like literally a small moss-covered stone that the followers would keep alive and water and stuff. And on the stone, they would then carve, like, I don't know, maybe the circle or the eye on it.
I like that idea.
to like be really, really naturey, tree huggy kind of feel.
Yeah.
And then with that as well, the worshipper gets to kind of decide how extra they want to be. Do they want like a little tiny stone with just a little symbol, or do they just want a fucking massive boulder?
Some poor sod who's got a giant boulder that they just have to drag everywhere to be coming.
I'll be there in a minute.
I must show my devotion.
Just, you know, end of the fight, they turn up at the top of the hill and just roll it down the hill, and
it just destroys the village. It's like, well, it was Iwana's will, obviously.
On the stone, the worshipper will have engraved either a circle or an eye.
Both, or if they really want to try to appease Boris, a squirrel.
Ah, yes, Boris.
It is Boris. This worshipper is protected by me, for he has this squirrel on his boulder.
I slightly forget the pronunciation of this one. Ismin?
Ismin.
Ismin, the Pathstrider, the Watcher, the Protector of the Crossroads, the Breach Guardian, the Tamer. This one we haven't made a lot of notes about. As you can see here, the notes expanded just are details to go here.
Ah, they're the god of details to go there.
Maybe we just, that's how we publish it. Keep it like that as we publish it.
Okay.
Well.
I put down a symbol of crossroads. Because hear me out. They are the protector of them.
What?
End of TED Talk.
End of TED Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Breach Guardian. What are we meaning by that?
I think it was along the lines of just like the what do you call it? The thresholds.
That like the
gateways and things.
The guardian of like the breach of a property or the breach of a area.
Okay.
The one that you go once more unto, dear friends.
Yeah.
What's he taming, this person? What are they taming?
The wilds. Something. Let me just double check and see if we wrote literally anything else in the.
You probably didn't do anything for this guy. Just.
What's the difference between this person and the Wanderer from before? Because they seem to have a bit of an overlap there.
They do rather.
Bana.
Yeah, this is literally all we wrote for them. We got a name.
Azazel wants to teach. What?
Asin the Spark wants to teach me, but I think they are a fool. And Evanora imprisoned me.
Okay.
I literally I don't remember what like. Did we just need
this is a book we put on, wasn't it?
I think this was literally just like we need one for this month. Ismin, done. Let's go home. Print it. So it's kind of an open book at the moment.
So if they've been imprisoned, could it be and thresholds is their thing? Could it be like a gate or like a...
Tanny points out it's time to go and re-watch the recordings of previous streams, but I feel that we would probably not get much more.
I think this was what didn't we do some like table rolling at one point to find connections between different gods?
That is the connections bit, yes. But I really don't think we noted anything else. Gate low, I like.
Because that kind of fits with the threshold and the sort of imprisoned. It kind of winds the two together.
Like a wooden gate, I feel. That sort of gate.
Or metal, like castle gate.
True. Guess that could be dependent on where the person is. What's my watch saying? It's 9 o'clock. Jeez. Thanks, watch. Okay, bye. Bye, watch.
Breaking news.
You're welcome, John. I'll be here if you want to know the time.
Symbol, a gate. Either a wooden rustic gate or the metallic portcullis of a castle. Oh, I need a new column of text.
Dear God.
There we go. And finally,
it could even be like potentially down to the more people know about that particular god's story. So it could start as a gate, but as soon as you learn more, it's like, oh, actually, okay, I can see.
We may find better options later for ourselves anyway.
I feel we also need to get more of that particular god's story written down at some point.
It would be helpful.
We'll circle back to that at some point. Zarus, the Iron Paragon, the god of war and victory. Victory, the god of winning. Yay,
symbol is the arc. His symbol is the arc reactor.
I kind of like his symbol being just the helmet.
Just what, sorry?
A helmet.
Yeah, I was thinking a helmet. Either a helmet or weaponry of some description.
Are we just going to say Iron Man just like got issues through this world?
Not Iron Man.
Tony Stark
helmet.
Tony Stark, yeah. Yeah, Tony Stark got isekai into the world.
Zarius, the Iron Paragon, the red and gold helmet is his holy symbol.
It needs to be an ornate helm.
An ornate,
like maybe
like spiky helm,
like spiky, or maybe like winged at the side, or so just something to make it like anyone else, like any person wearing this helmet, it would be massively impractical.
Yeah,
but a god wearing it makes 100% sense.
You go off. You do you.
Could there be a helmet that turns you into the paragon?
I feel that would be a bit too powerful a thing.
I mean, there could be, but that wouldn't be their common holy symbol.
Yeah. Okay.
I like winged helmet, like side profile winged helmet, large impractical wing out the side of a helmet, made of iron. Like it's got to be like the symbol has got to be made of iron.
There will be no, like, even the most like lordly people who worship him or have just a standard iron rendition of this symbol. No fancy shit. Just iron.
I kind of see it as like a face-on version with the wings either side, so you get the symmetry. But either way would work.
Yeah, I can see the pros of both.
Again, I'll note the both, and it can be an either.
Surely, like, all that matters is it's a helmet and it's iron. That's the
Those
the main
are the
thing.
two main things. It has to be iron, has to be this specific helmet, whether you're looking at it face on or from the side.
Indeed.
That is, as I said, the list of gods A to Z, because we have an A, B, and Y, Z, and several of the others in the middle.
Snazzy.
Let's have a quick look, because I feel that we need some amount of heraldry. And now
We do.
That's
That
either
makes
going to be
sense.
I open the folder of Tamrinorian locations, or we look at the factions. Where do people want to start?
I kind of wonder whether to start with factions, because some of the towns might be very heavily influenced by a faction, so they might...
I was going to say the other way around for the same reason, that factions might be heavily influenced by a place. Like, wherever they originated, they might be heavily influenced by that place.
Yeah, let's go Sean's way around.
I feel we've got a chicken and the egg situation.
Geoff, do you have
go
any
towns
opinion?
first.
Let's vote on this.
How do we actually work? It's down to like prominent people mainly, isn't it? Like, you know, a baron or something, their coat of arms and that kind
Also, perhaps what the towns are known for. Like if they're the, metalworking place of excellence, maybe that would creep into there.
colours as well. Colours be a big thing as well.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to...
How do heraldry work?
How do heraldry? Let's go with locations first. We're not going to do all of them, because I don't think all of them... Not everywhere is going to have heraldry.
No.
For instance, Boreas Fields. It's a place where there are some nomads. That doesn't lend itself to heraldry.
No, we want the kind of high-end, big
But should we-
places.
Should we start in the middle, at the top then, and go for Lawfell?
Well, Lawfell is the central location.
Then let's do it.
Heraldry.
Heraldary.
Heraldary. What are we thinking?
I think it's no second A in it. There we go.
Other than that. Other than
Mind me what the deal with this place is?
Lawfell is the heart of the noble humanoid races of Tamrinor. It marks the location where Lortak the Terrible fell over a century ago. Built on the shores of Siren's Lake, the town is a sprawling metropolis over quite some space. The central castle is surrounded by various rings drawing inspiration from the various races in the Alliance of Casimir. The rings deal with political matters to do with each of the races before leading to an elaborate castle with various spires that house the royal family. Main thoroughfares run from one ring to the next, dotted with carts that sell various items from foodstuffs to crafted items. Near the centre of town is a pair of trees, one crafted by the avians, the other by the elves, which are neighbouring and have grown together into each other. Originally formed as competing, this led to the formation of the Roots.
I kind of get the sense that it's a castle that is essentially sat on top of a plate of like concentric circles. If that makes sense.
As in, like, top down, or as in...
As in,
side
you're
on,
looking at the castle side on.
Yeah.
And as if the plate was laying on the floor, so you've got a bit of perspective to it.
Can I tell you what my thought for that?
Go on.
I like centric circles, but do we have a colour for castle?
Not as of yet.
Colour for castle. I didn't hear that. Sorry.
Not as of yet.
Okay. So what I was thinking was circle, but cut in half by a gold sash for the riches, sword and shield for, like, the victory protection, crown on top for the royalty, and a handshake below to show the union between the races. And I was going to say the background colour would be the colour of Casamite, but we don't know what colour that is.
I'm wondering if we have the colour of Casamite being... I know that Tanny mentioned this briefly about when we were discussing the green of Uana. We've got the Tamrinor... We've got the Tamrinor logo with 2 or 3 green gemstones in it. 3 green gemstones in the logo. Is that Casamite?
This is true. However, I will pose an alternative.
Go ahead.
In that FBF has a colour.
Light blue.
And this is our world.
This is true.
Also, it would leave the greens for the nature.
But does that mean that the motto of the coat of arms has to be in roundy rainbows?
God, no. That would be awful.
That would be awful, but also yes.
Yeah, I suppose. So what if unprocessed Casamite, because Casamite comes from Lorfell unprocessed, is the light blue coloration, and so it's light blue in the coat of arms of Lorfell. Yeah. But when it's processed, it's the green gemstones that are seen in the Tamrinor logo.
I like.
This I accept.
So a natural supply of Casamite. Casamite is a magical Lorfell in Lorfell. Unprocessed.
Now, what is its atomic composition?
No, I need to put that down. Here, where I actually talk about what it can do. It can use a substitute of its spells. And is a light blue coloration, but when refined, it enhances the enchantability of items infused with it, and takes on a green gem-like appearance. I keep closing that, and I need to not do that. Lawfell.
Once it's been processed, it can be ground up and snorted by
It's not wise to do.
by wizards of all ilk.
But how do you know if you don't try?
Well,
If there's any left over, you scoop it up with your finger and rub it on your gum. Whoop, whoop. That's the sound of the police. Whoop, whoop.
the background is the light blue color of unprocessed casamite, which I can give people the hex code for, should that come up.
That would be good to have.
With a golden sash in the middle. So I wrote, a castle sat on a plate of concentric circles. Above the plate is a crown signifying the royal family. Beneath is a handshake denoting the peaceful alliance of the races. The background is a light blue color, the light blue color of unprocessed casamite with a gold sash in the middle.
I like it. Print it, ship it, publish it, we're done.
Cool. So working down the list, where do we want to go to after Lawfell? I'm wondering...
What about Vector's Haven? Come on.
I was going to say, do we look at... There are two factions that are mentioned in the Lawfell description, which is the Alliance of Casimir and the Roots. Do we look at them now?
Can do.
Right as well. While we're here.
So the Alliance of Casimir... No, that should be 2. Heraldry. Harold. I mean, I feel that's got to have the same sort of color scheme. We want the light blue here as well.
Yeah.
I feel it's probably got to work in the crown or the handshake or the circles. Some combination of those three. Not all of them.
May I make a suggestion?
Yes.
We deal with as much as possible the races in the Alliance, because the Alliance will be a combination of those symbols.
I think at the very least, the color scheme is light blue. The background of whatever heraldry that is here is the light blue of Casamite.
It's the Alliance of Casimir, but light blue makes sense, yes.
Yeah.
A sea of light blue. Done.
How many races are in the Alliance again? Do we know?
We've
Or is it all?
specified at the moment it's the avians, the dwarves, the elves, the gnomes, the humans, the wild ones. I think the halflings should be on this list, but aren't at the moment.
How many does that make?
7, I believe, Mike, I think.
Oh, and tieflings should also be on this list. 8.
8.
It's basically the majority of the playable races.
Well, I'm trying to think of, like, I feel like it should have something on it to represent each. And I was thinking possibly, like, the concentric rings thing, then a handshake in front of it, like in the front of it, in the foreground.
Yeah.
Foreground.
And then I think it's hard to do because I was thinking that maybe on the hands could be rings to symbolize each race, but I don't know how that would work. And it wouldn't work technically because the other one hand would be on the wrong side.
Could be bracelets on the wrists of the shaking hands.
Could be. Or it could be consent rings. And you remember the old show, The Queen's Nose? Like the kid had a magic 50p that would grant wishes.
Yes.
And then they released an actual 50p, like especially for it, that had like a bunch of hands kind of laying across each other at the back, and then one of them
wonder
was
where
like,
that came from.
and then one of them was, I believe, the Queen's hand. Like they looked at it and drew it, and so yeah, what it could be is like, so the concentric circles in the back was like sea blue circles, and then 8 hands kind of like resting on the, like against the circle, each one representing each of, so like the small hand of a halfling, the kind of maybe long-nailed hand of a tiefling, feathery one of an avian, etc., etc., etc.
I like it.
Sea of light blue, concentric circles in background with 8 hands resting against the background, representing the races in the alliance.
Yes.
Now, the roots, I believe, is going to be relatively simple.
Why do you think that, John?
It's a crazy idea that I have, that I want things to be relatively simple.
No, it's
Tree.
That was the avians and elves, wasn't it?
This is the avians and elves who have worked out that they can work together rather than oppose each other.
Tree.
It's the tree, or primarily a leaf and like twig from the tree.
I completely disagree. I think it should be a unicycling panda.
Well, fuck you, it's going to be a twig.
I had wondered whether it was because both a leaf and a feather have the like central stem bit, whether it is a feather one side and a leaf the other.
I like that. Straight away.
Could they be intertwined? Because that's the whole point of it.
Well, for mine, I'm thinking they are literally the same thing.
It's one that merges into the next.
Like, so one half of the thing is the feather bit, and then the other half you can see the veins through the leaf.
Yes. Print it, ship it.
A leaf that merges into a feather with the same central stem. Okay, well, we said about going to Vectis Haven next, so
To Vectis Haven.
I think what it should be is it's in terms of like thinking of it like a flag, normal rectangular flag, and it's just grey. You can't tell. There's too much smog. It's stained it.
Well, I'm thinking it's probably literally just it's a dark grey or black with the Chasmite gem in the middle.
Yeah. Simple. I like it.
Simple.
Keep it
Clean.
straightforward.
This is the one that's got like a lot of like machinery.
Yeah.
Maybe a cog going around it.
Yeah. I
Just
feel
to
that
show industry, Chasmite. That's all.
I feel that whatever it is, there's going to be sort of the official heraldry, which is that, and then there's the sort of unofficial one that is like the punk take on it. The one that's spray painted on the side of buildings from the Resistance or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like, in a way, the official one should have a cog in it. And then, if they purposely leave the cog out in whatever the graffiti is, it's like that kind of, we're not part of the machine.
Man. Sorry, I felt that sentence needed a man on the end.
Yeah, it did. I'm disappointed in myself that I didn't add it.
You should be. I'm just saying. Deeply disappointed. And also, that would be like for the common rebellious rabble, it would be easy to take existing stuff and just paint the cog out.
Yeah.
If we got like black or grey, like a single flat colour, black or grey, it's easy to, especially those colours, because you'd be able to scrape the tar and smog and detritus off the walls and mix it and make black or grey paint easy.
Yeah.
Unofficial versions feature either the cog removed to show that the people are no longer part of the machine, or the cog broken/cracked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again, I feel like if it's a plain black or dark grey flag, you can just like very
draw a cracky
easily
line.
crack the line.
And then you've just got that one rebel who's like made this ridiculously overly complicated one with like the cog in like separate pieces, like it's been blown open, and it's like, just showing off like some sort of dickhead.
I just like the idea that there's like the unofficial the graffiti somewhere of the cog wheel exploded apart into pieces, the Chasmite there in the middle still, but like glowing, and just the words "just don't" like sprayed around it, dripping down.
It's not so much graffiti as it's a warning sign. It's an industrial warning sign.
What have the Alliance ever done for us except for clean roads and clean water and
protection and all the other stuff?
Aqueduct.
Okay. Siren's Academy.
Remind me what the deal there is again.
Siren's Academy is a magic school opposite Lawfell. It is a tower that is impossible to have built without the use of magic. It is seen across the, like, there is a lake outside of Lawfell, and you can see across to this impossible tower where the mages are, and people look across the lake to see this impossible building. I feel that that needs to have some sort of heraldry.
Yeah, I think the building sounds like it's the focus. So that would probably play quite a big role in their heraldry.
Okay, yeah.
I'm just immediately thinking of Unseen University's motto. Nunc id vides, nunc ne vides. Now you see it, now you don't.
You don't. Thinking it's a purple background
I was thinking purple.
because it's magic.
I'm feeling it would be something just like overly complicated, like a really complicated glyph,
Should we make
or
it?
like interlocking glyphs, things like that. It's like just stupidly complex.
I'm going to go to my go-to here. Can we lean it towards magenta?
Sorry, you lean it towards what? Sorry.
Magenta.
Okay.
Because magenta doesn't exist on the color spectrum.
True.
I like the idea of the glyph. Can we make it so that whatever glyph it is has a central line that we can make the tower?
Yeah. I like it.
Yes.
A magenta field with a complex glyph in the middle. The central stem of the glyph is a representation of the tower of Siren's Academy. I feel we need something for Torgalad. Or if we... On one hand, I feel we need something for Torgalad. On the other hand, I feel we don't need some... Like, Torgalad wouldn't have heraldry.
Remind me, Torgalad is...
Torgalad is the forest where the elves live, except Torgalad actually refers to just the singular oldest and largest tree in the forest. What I feel does need heraldry is the Empire of Balatur.
I feel they'd have a symbol, not necessarily heraldry.
Yeah.
Like something simple that they could like adorn themselves with, and rather than just anything like a blue background with an arcing stream of piss. I don't know.
I feel the thing that does have a complicated, or at least a flag, is the Empire of Balatur.
Yes, that would. So maybe we think of the Balatur one, and then maybe Torgalad is like one aspect of that heraldry that they've kept to say that, you know, we acknowledge that this was part of our history.
We did a whoops.
Or possibly like a piece of that heraldry that they altered a bit to show that it's like different or broken or something.
Okay. Idea. Part of the flag of the Empire is an oak tree.
Yes.
and the new symbol is an acorn.
That can work.
Yep. It gives like new beginning vibes.
Yeah. Do we think there's anything else on the heraldry of the Empire? Geoff, also looking at you for this one because you came up with the Empire.
Militaristic, would there be some sort of weapon to go with it? Or
like an elven sword and shield?
Yeah. Something like that, yeah. I feel being a militaristic empire, they would have something like maybe either that or maybe like a gauntleted hand or something like that. Like a gauntleted fist even. To show
I like the
strength.
idea that the standard symbol of the Empire is the elven sword and shield in front of the oak. Arda Tur has the gauntleted hand grasping the oak tree.
Yeah.
Like the leader's heraldic symbol is that gauntlet, like elven gauntlet grasping oak tree.
Mhm.
Indeed.
And then Tur Galad. Has adopted the symbol of an acorn to denote the new beginnings after the Empire.
After the umpire.
The elven
Indeed.
words for we provide for forest. The forest provides for us. Surround the acorn. Any others anyone's thinking of?
Nope.
And mind empty.
Okay, if I just run up the list, if anyone thinks of any that we need to stop and think of. Sunspire, Stone's Grave, Staros, South Haven, Siren's Harbour, Sanctuary Springs, Rock Bottom, North Haven, Norrock, Martaradim, Lycos, the Iron Wings Resolve, Honeywell, Fort Vigil, Fort Casimir. I mean, they're both going to have the symbol of the Alliance. Yeah, I think we're pretty good, unless we want to do, like... Sunspire and Stone's Grave and Honeywell are all sort of the central locations of those races.
Yeah, I feel each of them would have something.
Yeah. Kind of like it's like the capital of that particular race's domain.
So Sunspire is the capital of the avian civilization, which I will also spell check. We've discussed that it's the buildings themselves are very Nordic. Do we carry that over into their heraldry?
It probably would.
Yeah. I feel that they're. Once again, I keep thinking of these heraldries in terms of flags. I know I shouldn't because they're used in other things, but I feel that
the flag is a good place to start.
I feel in terms of if it was to be on a flag, it would have to be something that would suit being longer. Because I feel with them being on a mountaintop, they would usually like with a lot of I'm trying to think. So, well, technically civilizations or people, various peoples of real Earth land.
I love living in real Earth land.
People who live at higher altitudes tend to use longer material to have as flags and decoration and stuff to allow it to flap, because it can flap a lot easier at higher altitudes.
I'm kind of picturing then like the banners at like Rohan, for instance. That sort of long
not necessarily.
banner.
Yeah, I wasn't
the cavalry
saying,
banners. Yeah, like the
I wasn't
cavalry.
necessarily saying like horizontal long, but like long vertical or horizontal, or both. It could just be a massive
giant
thing,
flag,
the size of a football pitch.
Need 5 horses just to like make
to
make it sweep across. Yeah.
The flag isn't waving very well today. Get the horses out.
Yeah.
So all the horses fell off the mountain because we're at a high altitude.
Well, get more horses.
Instead, we are now using mountain goats.
Meh, meh, meh.
The goats are in the flag.
Damn it.
We have not thought this through.
It would be something potentially depicting a mountain.
Yeah.
If that's like...
So we know from the history...
Specifically celebrating their, high altitude.
We know from the history, we recently discussed this, that they were driven away to the mountains. That they had formerly lived somewhere else, and they fled to the mountains so that the raptors could not follow them.
It could almost be, if we're going for a long flag, that it almost like depicts their journey.
Yeah, I was about to say it could be almost like a simplistic tapestry.
Yeah.
I like the idea that the race that is all about knowledge would have that as their flag. Like, it makes sense that, like, they value knowledge, and so their flag is going to tell you about them.
Yeah.
I'm picturing it red with black symbols. And it just being like a depiction of them flying away to the mountains. and being safe, and something in the avian language that says like the mountain protects us.
I kind of see almost like a flag that is wider than it is tall, that depicts the landscape and starts off flat with trees and then basically climbs up to the mountain top, which meets the sort of top right corner of the flag. So it's almost like as they moved, their flag changed, and the higher they got, like the longer the flag got because the more landscape they had to build in.
Hang on, I think I've seen a flag like I'm picturing now. I was only picturing a flag in my brain. Hold on.
In your brain hole.
God damn it.
But yeah, it could be really simplified. Like, it wouldn't be a lot of detail in the flag, but just that sort of.
I could have sworn there is like a country that has a flag like I'm picturing, but what it could be almost like a kind of right angle flag that, so like it's more of a wedge shape than a standard rectangle.
Okay.
Okay.
And then so it starts off with down the bottom, like I don't know, like flat fields, woodland, forest, etc. And then maybe like literally it could be like a tapestry almost. And so like maybe then it goes on to like a battle scene, and then them cursing the raptors, and then them going to the mountains, and it goes up to the mountains, and like literally can have the top point of the flag being the top of the mountain almost.
I wonder if that's more of a like they have the simple one that can be easily reproduced, that is just the landscape, and then that's the very ornate one that goes like into more detail.
And in response, I did think of that flag, Sean, but it's not that one. But it's not that one I'm thinking of. I was thinking originally. I thought of. I could have sworn there was a flag. I may be thinking of like a fantasy, like something from a fantasy game or something like that, where it was like a stepped flag, like so it has like a smaller bit at top, and then it goes to a larger bit at the bottom.
Yeah.
But I can't think where that's from. And I feel
for reference, John, I wondered whether it was the flag of Nepal.
Okay.
Which is like
it's kind of like two triangles overlapping.
Yeah. But yeah. Look, the thing I was suggesting, I feel would be more an ornate flag, or an ornate piece that maybe they keep in their town hall or something.
Yeah, I reckon we can figure out something that is a simplified and an elaborate version, so that they have both. Like, I like the idea that they're connected.
Yeah, their heraldry would tell a story regardless.
Yes.
And would be heavy on the details, but also light on the details, because they want it to be a flag because it's easy to produce.
Yeah, that's always the way up with designs. Things that are easy to produce.
Stone's Grave is the heart of the Dwarven Empire, deep inside the mountains.
I feel like that would be either like dwarven tools, like the sort of digging pickaxes and things,
I'm trying not to break into song.
Yeah.
But why? They're just dwarves and they like digging holes. What's the?
Or perhaps a mountain with like vaulted ceilings cut into it, so like a series of arches in the lower section. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Do they also... Would you also put, like, the pickaxe or, like, pickaxe and hammer over the top of that mountain? Or just leave it as a mountain?
So, pickaxe and hammer over the sounds good, actually.
I think it would depend how it looked, because you wouldn't want it to be cluttered necessarily. But yeah, some combination thereof. Like maybe you do the mountain and the tools and not the vaulted ceilings, or it might be a bit of a play around and see.
Okay. Staros, I feel we might want to come back to at some point, because I feel that they might have some good heraldry.
They're old pirates. They're gonna have some form of heraldry.
We'll look at Honeywell first.
Remind me about Honeywell.
Halflings.
Honeywell is the idyllic home of the halflings.
Can we go really cute, adorable, and literal, and have a picture of like an old well, like, you know, the stone ones with the little slaty roof with bees?
Yes. I feel we should.
I feel that is the best option straight away.
I just get the really cute, like, literal vibes from it.
Yeah, I feel it would be as well. Like, this is probably pushing it, but I feel each of the bees would have a little smiley face. Not necessarily on the official one, but I reckon that if it's drawn or put anywhere else, halfling children are drawing smiley faces on them.
I reckon Sean sneaks in there at night and draws them over everything.
An old stone well with a slate roof with possibly smiling bees buzzing around the well.
Yeah.
Or possibly halfling children try to draw the smiling faces on the actual heraldry as a dare. Just saying. And so the heraldry constantly has to keep getting cleaned because some little rat bag is drawn on the heraldry again.
Halfling children sometimes draw the smiling bee faces on the flag in crayons or finger paints or similar on a dare.
Yeah.
Get arrested for defacing the public property.
Oh, you
Yeah,
know, these
police
children.
turn up.
Yes, because halflings known for their capital punishment of children.
It's a lesser known fact about the halflings.
Yeah.
I do love that one of our notes on Honeywell is just reverse Gandalf.
It's just what?
Reverse Gandalf? Question mark.
Reverse Gandalf.
reverse Gandalf?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the entirety of the note. Reverse Gandalf.
A really short, very young, and not particularly powerful wizard?
No. So, all that bit's the same, if I'm correct. I believe it was he desperately trying to stop halflings going on adventures.
Yes, I believe that was the intention,
Okay.
is he desperately tries to keep halflings that want to go on adventures at home because they are better off staying at home.
He believes.
So they've got like Mission Impossible their way out of there.
Over the hill. Oh, you don't want to go over there. There's bears over there.
Tanny says, reminds me of the Glasgow statue with a cone on its head.
Oh yeah.
Staros.
Every single bit of piratical heraldry you could dream up.
It's
just
got to be
all skulls and all crossbones.
skulls and crossbones on black and white flag, skull and crossbones.
I feel it would be a chaotic heraldry. I feel Staros having that piratical history, there would be every time a new kind of head of the town or head of the settlement comes in, they all add a bit.
Yeah.
And so it's become this weird eclectic thing of like, it was just a skull and crossbones. Then it was a skull and crossbones with a hat. Then it was a skull and crossbones with an eye patch on. Then it was a skull and crossbones
with a tooth.
with the bones.
Yeah, everyone wants something from their own flag embodied in the main one. That's how you know you've made it.
So
If you end up on the flag.
Yeah, it's official. I've joined. See, look, there's my gold tooth.
It's got a gold tooth now, and it's literally a gold tooth. It's not like painted on. They've stitched a gold tooth onto it.
Yeah. It's from
It
Dave,
was
that one is.
legitimately his. It was punched out in a bar fight.
Yeah.
I also feel like it would have the open edge, like the opposite end from where the hole is, would have maybe like a series of ribbons attached through, so that the pirates have like, as if essentially they've taken a strip off the top of their own flag and added on.
Yep, I've added that because I like that. Tanny's advice when I was writing that out is just write a fucking mess, John. It's just a fucking mess.
It's beautiful mess.
I feel it's a very well-designed mess.
It's organized chaos, but it's
Yeah.
chaos nonetheless.
It somehow works.
I love the idea that they
Something,
don't
at least, yeah.
they don't always remove the old editions.
No, they're tasked with trying to keep as many of the additions on as possible.
Like, they will remove the old editions if the previous leader was disliked, but if you lived, like, if the leader of the town is liked enough and just, like, stops being the leader through old age, they're going to keep that guy's gold tooth or hat or sword on the flag after they've gone.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Okay, looking at it, one, it's 10 o'clock, so let's I don't know why it being 10 o'clock means we should move to the factions, but that's what I've decided now.
But screw it, that's what we're doing.
So looking at it, the Alliance of Casimir, we have the heraldry is the 8 hands, sea of blue, concentric circles. We then have a religious faction called the Circle of Wanderers, a religious group who worship both Uana the Verdant Queen. Tanny's just said in the chat, or someone's underwear, which I assume means that they're talking about the flag still, not just that's randomly coming up. A religious group that worships both Uana the Verdant Queen and Falkite the Wanderer and seeks out all experience within Tamrinor, even if it's normally too dangerous to experience, such as going to the corrupted lands to the east.
So would that be a combination of Uana and Falkite symbols then?
I feel it's got to have a circle in it. It's probably got to have a compass in it. And we're probably looking at having green in it. Not necessarily taking everything from both of the symbols, but
I reckon that one we might need to wait until we've got the other 2 confirmed.
The Cliffsiders.
I'm going to be right back.
Okay.
Cliffsiders.
Ow, I just poked myself in the eye.
Don't do that, that's silly.
The Cliffsiders are an anarchist group that nearly destroyed the Alliance of Casimir before it started. They sided with the evil Queen Kaliska and a unified force of raptors. They have since been banished from Tamrinor and now live on the wind-blasted rock of an island called Lycos.
If they're anarchists, wouldn't it just be like a graffiti-style R, letter R? Just something quick, simple, and obvious.
I feel something simple that, yeah.
Can we make the R out of the shape of the island? You know, like if you were looking at the island from a distance, can the bottom edge of the R be the island shape?
You might need to show us.
I think it's something.
Looks like.
I think it's something like you could just like draw on a wall very quickly.
Yeah, so all I'm thinking is, like, say the island is really steep on the left-hand side and much smoother on the right-hand side. When you draw the R, the bottom 2 legs of it would, like, straddle the island.
I feel we
and then the looped bit would be on the top, because then it could be, it's just written at a slightly quirky angle, which gives it the that makes it specifically theirs. But it is the shape that you could just bash out with a spray can or quick couple of swipes of a brush.
Danny's saying you turned Lycos into a bad place. We turned Lycos into an undesirable place to live. It's not ideal.
Unless you like the wind.
I'm going to put that it's sometimes depicted straddling the profile of the island of Lycos. Because I think the idea of it just being something that you can very quickly and are the Ember Wolf Archivists. A group of seekers and knowledge hunters primarily of the Avians.
Either books or scrolls, I think, for that. That should be part of
Scrolls, I think. Like, they're a group of libraries and centers of magic. They can allow for teleportation between their locations. So yeah, I think scroll. Scroll
Yeah,
slash.
scroll would work. Library, yeah.
Then we've got the Empire of Balatur. We've discussed that one already. Okay, yeah. I see where you're going with that, Sean.
That was my thinking. I shall send to Geoff too.
The final one that we ain't discussed yet is the Hunger of Knowledge, a cult of raptors who seek to oppose the worship of Befin, the Folio of Eras, and wipe out knowledge.
Is that like a book on fire?
It's what I'm
Like
that's
a
the
book
first
laying
thing that pops
open
into my
with
head.
like a stylized fire on top of the book?
An open book that is burning.
like,
It's
could it be
very
torn in
much.
two? Could it be torn in two as well? Just like really hammer it home.
A open book that is torn in two and burning.
Yes, yes.
Then I suppose, because we're here still, Sanctuary Springs. Do we think that Sanctuary Springs, the town in the middle of the desert, the town that makes glass, the town that is sort of a hub of trade items and transport into and out of the desert, that's got to have some symbols, some heraldry,
Yeah.
right?
At least symbol.
What are we thinking?
I mean, I kind of get the sense of like a blue shape of some kind in a sea of yellow. Like, take it quite literally. Because then from like a graffiti point of view, it could be a circle of blue inside a yellow square.
A blue shape in a sea of yellow depicting the safety of the water in the desert. Oh yes, Tani would like a quick read of Lycos. Lycos. Looking at Lycos from above, you would be forgiven for missing the settlement on this island. As the top of the rocky island is clear, blasted by strong winds from the ocean. Those that have settled on Lycos have tucked away their settlement in the crevices along the cliff faces, making do with what can be secured in these alcoves, with walkways strung between them, between the various buildings to avoid the heavy tidal waters lower on the cliff. The cliffsiders have harnessed the powers of this inhospitable island to make their lives easier, using both the strong tidal flow and winds above to power machinery that allows for agriculture in the surrounding area. Airships allow for easy transport to this island, but there is a port that allows access to the island, although it is treacherous to make the crossing by sea. Tani also suggests possibly a sun with broken glass at the bottom to represent a shooting star. For Sanctuary Springs. What do we think?
Still like the idea of the oasis. Still like the idea of the oasis.
I don't know how we could make it look like broken glass. It clearly a broken glass type.
Yeah, that's difficult.
That's the bit that I'm sticking on.
I like the I do like the idea of including the sun.
We could do it as, so if you take what I said about the yellow background with the blue circle on top, if you cut that in half, so give it a horizon line straight through the middle of the circle in the middle, and on the other side you just flip the colours. So the bottom half is a blue semicircle surrounded by yellow, and the top half is a yellow semicircle surrounded by blue.
Yeah.
I returned.
I like it. I like it. I also like that Sean's back now.
Welcome back, Sean.
I returned from war.
A semicircle.
I feel like that's the most simplified, that shows everything.
Semicircle of blue and a sea of yellow with the same but colours reversed. A semicircle of yellow in a sea of blue to represent the oasis in the middle of the desert and the harsh sun from above. Done. Is everybody happy?
Yeah, I think so. I'm going to need a list of what we wrote.
I can provide you a list. It's many things.
Many things were written.
But yeah, no, that's a really good starting point to be able to play with. ideas from.
Yeah. So I think, unless anyone's got any other things they want to discuss now about this in particular, not just in general, that's a good place to wrap this one up.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think I don't know if it's the thing we're going to do next, but one of the things I was thinking about today is that at some point we should do a session where we look at homebrewing a monster or two.
That would be cool.
Interesting.
To be specific to this setting, because obviously, you know, we're still going to just a lot of things are going to just be the standard monsters, and also monsters from things like flea mortals and etc. But it would be nice to have, you know, 2 or 3 at least unique beasties that are.
Could we also, you know, like in the Avatar, Blue People Avatar, like their creatures all have a different limb set, but they're like universal between them. Can we find something like that so that there's a way that people can tweak monsters that they pull in from other places to fit
Possibly.
as a sort of setting?
Possibly.
So we'll make a couple ourselves, but then also like consider that they've got, like in Avatar sense, it'd be consider that they've actually got 6 limbs.
One of the things I was considering or was thinking we could look at, and this is a thing that they don't do so much in 5th edition of D&D as they did in previous versions, but sort of have a Gygaxian corrupted template that you can apply to monsters to represent this is a monster that's been corrupted by the power of the Gygaxian.
Okay.
Yes.
So I think that's at least one thing that we should look at some point soon. Another thing I suppose that we sort of discussed very early on and have not gone back to flesh out further is that we've got the tiefling and their 7 deadly sins tied to a specific lower plane. We haven't gone back and discussed the lower planes that each tiefling type is associated with.
Indeed.
So I feel that there is some more of the cosmos that we need to sort of flesh out there. The wheel of cosmology needs some more planes associated with it.
Yes.
I assume if we've got some lower planes, we have some upper planes as well then.
We do. We have the Antari touched, who are basically the same as Asimar in D&D, who are associated with the nice upper planes.
Okay.
But yes, let's go back to this screen so that you stop seeing the bit that I type on. And I'm going to save some of these things so that I don't lose stuff that I've worked on tonight.
While Chap can marvel at Tanny's work.
Yeah. And it's now time for us to say the things of thank you guys in the chat so much for watching. If you haven't done so already, please do hit that follow button. It's a great way for you to love to see a tiefling of the Pride Plane would have larger horns. It's a great way for you guys to know we go live, a completely free way that you can help us on the channel, support us on this channel. It really does mean a lot to us. I know I say it every time, but it really, really does. We have a Discord that you can join to chat with us about the games we're playing, the things that we're doing. We do have a space on the Discord for you to chat to us about the world building, to give your suggestions for things you would like to see, or to ask clarification that will prompt us to answer questions. Again, it really helps us to think of things. If you think of something that we may have missed or want more details about something that we've said, the Discord is a great place to go and do that. We have a YouTube channel that you can go to catch all of our previous videos. We have a website, www.finalbossfight.co.uk, that you can go to catch all of our stuff. All of the stuff that we do goes up on the website, as well as exclusive content goes up on the YouTube channel at the moment that's not previously streamed. What? Oh, I've lost my train of thought there now. The website also has links to the Discord and the YouTube channel. And we have the following streams coming up. Tomorrow night, we've got the Rime of the Frost Maiden continuing as the group deal with the island of Solstice. They've now arrived at the island of Solstice and are being guided by the ice mephit Sapo, who is going to lead them first of all to the body of the previous person to make it to the island of Solstice. Someone who rather unfortunately got claimed by the touch of the Frost Maiden before Sapo could even say hello. On Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week, I believe the Angel Games player is going to be continuing to play the Angel Games player roulette, where they are playing a random game as chosen by the roulette wheel just before they start streaming. On Monday night, I'm going to be playing some more Marvel Midnight Suns. On Wednesday, it is time for me to look at... we're going to keep doing some work on fighting the Warden and collecting echo shards from the Deep Dark in the FBF Craft V3 content. And then we're also looking at adding some more mods to play with on there as well. And then we'll be back next Sunday with more stuff to do. For now, though, let us do a raid. Where is my raid window going to open up? Over there. Who is live at the moment? Snowwolfess is doing some Ark Survival Ascended. So let's go give Snowwolf some love. Snowwolfess some love. We'll see you guys again real soon. For now, so long. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey.